One of the things I find both fascinating and crucial when thinking about the idea of a new Earth and a worldwide shift in consciousness, a great awakening, is how impossible it seems. Our planet feels like it's asleep. We live in a matrix. This matrix is built from myth, lies, and manipulations. People have become a part of this matrix naturally, due to human nature, and also because of more sinister reasons. We are born into a world where we are told, this is how things are. From a young age, we hear many small lies. Over time, these lies make us believe the world is exactly as we've been programmed to see it. The human mind is very easy to hypnotize and manipulate, and many of us have fallen into a kind of sleep. This sleep is made up of daily routines and rituals based on our past experiences. We are all trapped in what seems like a matrix. This matrix has developed over time as a way to control us. It influences how we think, act, and perceive the world. The matrix is built from the repeated lies and manipulations we hear, and it keeps us from seeing the true reality. This control system shapes our lives and keeps us locked in a limited understanding of the world. We need to break free from this matrix, the system that tells us how society and the world are supposed to be. It dictates our beliefs and perceptions of reality. Escaping this matrix is essential for moving into the fourth density, or fifth dimension, which means reaching a higher level of consciousness. It's interesting to revisit the writings of George Gurdjieff, a remarkable author, and his colleague Gleb Uspensky. These Russian writers explored consciousness and described what they believed was a kind of matrix that has developed over time. They referred to their exploration as the work, a process of remembering who we truly are and awakening from this sleep-like state. Their writings are complex and dense, but I've thought about reading Gurdjieff's work for an episode in the past. Their insights can help us understand the matrix and the journey toward higher consciousness. We are all shaped by what we believe about our past, our history, our education, and what we learned in school. Our realities are made up of myths. Every tribe has its myths, and every culture is deeply influenced by its own tribal myths. To be part of the tribe, you have to accept these myths. However, you can choose to leave the matrix, and that is what we are trying to do. Western myths have deeply influenced our consciousness and power for thousands of years, so much so that we barely know the truth anymore. Saints and spiritual teachers have told us how our history is incorrect and have tried to wake us up. This confusion has led us to lose our true selves. Who are we really? Where did we come from? What are our real historical stories? What powers might have been hidden from us? To find out, we need to question these myths and seek the truth beyond what we've been taught. This journey is about breaking free from the matrix and discovering our true identity and potential. Many mysteries still remain. Now, more than ever, we need to return to the truth because that is where our power lies. We have been trapped in Maya, which means illusion, for too long. We've reached the point where our delusions are overwhelming. Lies and corruption can only move toward the truth now, or we are lost. When a culture is deeply rooted in lies, it becomes very hard for it to grow and thrive. Lies cause decay and disease in society. This is when we need sages, mystics, visionaries, healers, and shamans the most. They help guide us back to the truth, to our center, and to our wholeness. We especially need our Western shamans now. We live in a post-truth society where lies are constantly told on television and in politics. These big lies cause major problems and lead to big revolts. Our culture needs to move beyond these lies and find the truth to heal and grow stronger. Only by seeking the truth can we overcome the challenges we face and find our true power. William Casey once said, "When everything Americans believe is false, we'll know we've accomplished our goal." But what does that mean? It means their goal is to take away your power, your soul, and your true path in life. They want you to live a life that isn't really yours, and they want you to be unaware of who you truly are as you follow a path they've set for you, leading to your programmed end. This shocking statement reflects the reality we face today, driven by people who think they can benefit from this twisted perspective. How did we end up here? Through persistent and consistent spreading of false information, lies, repeated trauma, illusions, and maybe even black magic. They've used sustained mind control to achieve their ends. When did this all start in modern times? I believe it's part of an ancient plan that has been in the works for a very long time. Charlotte Thompson Iserbyt is someone I highly recommend reading about. Charlotte was born into a family involved in a secret society, but as a woman she was not included in their inner circle. She didn't know about their plans until she became a teacher and noticed how harmful the educational system was. She began to document what she saw as a deliberate plan to damage the American educational system and harm children. Charlotte wrote a best-selling book called The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. In this book, she explains how the elites have a plan to lower the quality of education, making Americans less intelligent and easier to control. Charlotte's observations and writings shed light on this troubling issue and provide a detailed account of how and why the education system is being manipulated. Her work is crucial for understanding the hidden agendas that affect our schools and society. Now, I don't know if this is true, and the purpose of this audiobook isn't to dive into any conspiracy theories. However, we have experienced similar things. B.F. Skinner's book, Operant Conditioning, is an example. This book explains how humans and animals learn to behave to get rewards and avoid punishments. It's a classic in psychology. Educators have used these principles to make children act in certain ways, reinforcing obedience, ignorance, and brainwashing. The aim is to crush individualism and create a submissive workforce. I believe these forces working against us are aware that new worlds and ideas are always forming, and they're trying their hardest to take away our ability to think freely. Because we do not think freely, we cannot create reality freely. Free thought is discouraged, and brilliant children are told they're odd or outsiders or they're scorned. I believe that we've gone through 60 years of brainwashed children that have been dumbed down all over the world, not just in America. So how do we escape this? How do we escape this dumbing down, manipulation that we are victims of just by living in this existence, in this incarnation, that holds us down from truly expanding to another level, becoming service to others beyond our own egos? We have been a selfish, violent, insensitive, angry, and emotionless society led by people who cause destruction, war, and suffering. For a long time we have faced fascism and holocausts. There are many illusions around us that make us separate from each other and forget about helping one another. Yet we all live under the same God and on the same earth. We all have hearts that beat with the same red blood, and we are all part of the same ecosystem and energy of the earth. At some point our consciousness got divided. It's time for us to heal this division and break free from the false reality that has been created. As you start to fix the division in your mind, you will naturally begin to love yourself more. This self-love will then help you feel love for others and move towards living in harmony and unity with everyone around you. One obstacle in fixing this split in your mind is the growing number of ideas that tell you to avoid anything negative. These philosophies suggest that talking, thinking, or looking at negative things might overwhelm you. This belief is becoming more common, promoted by different groups, and even by me when I talk about positive thinking. However, I mean something more than just avoiding negativity. The process of creating reality involves using your thoughts to shape the world around you. As you go down this path, you realize there's a part of you thinking to create this reality that you are not aware of, and this is where the matrix is formed. This hidden part is known as your shadow. Ignoring your shadow self completely is dangerous because it can influence your thoughts and actions without you realizing it. It's important to stay positive and think positive thoughts. But we can't ignore our shadow self. By pretending it doesn't exist, we allow it to act behind our backs and cause problems. It's like having an elephant in the living room that is causing destruction. Our collective shadow is being ignored, and this is harming our world. Denying the shadow side of ourselves means accepting a skewed version of reality. Our world contains both light and dark, good and bad, yin and yang in everything. We can't ignore the darker side of life. Ignoring it leads to extreme problems like racism, addiction, violence, sexism, abuse, greed, murder, and rape. When people don't recognize their own shadow, they miss an important part of their personal power and growth. By acknowledging the shadow, we reclaim the power we lost and embrace it. This gives us the ability to transform, recharge, and rejuvenate ourselves, helping us escape from the matrix. We can't truly leave the matrix until we understand its full extent and the boundaries between it and our true selves. If you ignore your own hidden darker side, which everyone has, you're essentially living with a divided mind. When you avoid facing this part of yourself because you fear it will grow stronger, you're actually giving it more control over you. Keeping your dark side buried only makes it more powerful. Similarly, if we ignore the larger problems and darkness in the world, they will continue to have control over us. This is what evil relies on to survive. It thrives on our ignorance. However, if we embrace our true spiritual power, we can reclaim the power that has been taken from us, heal our world, and start building a better future. If you only focus on one part of reality, you create a sense of separation and make evil stronger. Do you really think your inner light is so weak that it can't confront darkness? Are you so scared of darkness that you believe it will overpower your light? Some religious groups talk about avoiding evil, suggesting they don't have the strength to overcome it. But you have the power to completely dispel darkness. It will not take over unless you let it. You are incredibly powerful. Gurdjieff mentions 3 illusions that keep us trapped in this state. The first illusion is that when something bad happens to us, we refuse to take responsibility and instead blame others or circumstances. We think it's not our fault. However, when good things happen, we are quick to take credit for them, believing they are caused by us. The second illusion is thinking that we truly know ourselves. If we could actually see how we behave, we would be shocked. Think about the first time you heard your voice recorded. You were probably surprised, and not in a good way, by how it sounded. The same would happen if we saw how we act. We tend to be much better at judging others than ourselves. There are many reasons why we don't really know ourselves, but the main point is that because we think we know ourselves, we don't believe that our own actions and behavior are the reason for the unpleasant things that happen to us. The third illusion, according to Gurdjieff, is the belief that things will automatically get better with time and that our lives will improve without any effort on our part. In reality, as we age, things tend to get worse, not better. We become set in our ways, making it harder to change. This is why older people can be more challenging to live with. Our fixed habits and behaviors can clash with those of others, creating friction. These ingrained patterns are very hard to change or adapt. Nothing will improve unless we actively work on changing ourselves. Gurdjieff talks about the magnetic center and 3 types of influences, A, B, and CA influences. These come from everyday life and help us navigate the material world. They include things like making money, building a career, establishing relationships, starting a family, and seeking fame and fortune. These influences keep us focused on the material world. We often think we're making progress with A influences, but it's like being in a hall of distorted mirrors. We think we're moving forward, but we're actually just going in circles without realizing it. A influences have no connection with B or C influences. An extreme example of an A influence is a man in a crowd. He adopts the crowd's views and loses his ability to think independently. He becomes part of a mass phenomenon, much like the concept of the pendulum in Vadim Zeland's novel Reality Transurfing. The pendulum represents how people fall under the influence of the masses. C influences come from enlightened masters like Christ, Buddha, and Muhammad. These influences are special because they are transmitted directly from the master to the listener, with no intermediaries involved. It's a direct communication. B influences are the teachings of these enlightened masters, but they come to us through intermediaries. For example, the parables of Christ in the New Testament are bee influences because we read about them rather than hearing them directly from Christ. The people who wrote these teachings, like Paul, never actually heard Christ speak. Those who did hear Christ were receiving sea influences. The same applies to Buddha. His direct followers received sea influences, while those who wrote about his teachings, sometimes hundreds of years later, are passing on bee influences. The key point is that bee influences come from higher sources, not from everyday life. If a person has a magnetic center, they can distinguish between A and B influences. These influences shape what we believe our reality to be. The best way to explain this is with Plato's allegory from The Republic. In this story, men are chained inside a cave. All they can see are shadows on the wall in front of them, and they believe these shadows are reality. One day, one of them escapes and goes outside. He discovers that the shadows are not the real world, but just reflections of actual objects. When he returns to the cave and tells the others what he found, they don't believe him. We are like those prisoners in the cave, and we are in the process of discovering what is outside the cave. Gurdjieff identified 4 things that keep us trapped in the matrix, and the biggest obstacle is identification. This means we become so absorbed in events or roles in our lives that we lose our true selves. For example, think of an actor who starts to believe he is the character he plays, like the actor in Jesus of Montreal, who begins to think he really is Jesus outside of the play. Similarly, we identify with situations in our lives and merge with them, causing our real self to vanish. A person who defines themselves by their financial status might feel so devastated by losing all their money that they might even consider suicide, which was common during the Great Depression in the 1930s. We become whatever we identify with. If we constantly think about an illness we have, we start to see ourselves as that illness. You might think, it's only natural to worry about financial problems or health issues. However, the key point is that we don't consciously choose to become identified with these problems. It happens automatically and instantly. We don't just think about the problem, we become obsessed with it. The second obstacle Gurdjieff identified is internal considering versus external considering. This is very important, but many people don't practice it, which keeps us trapped in the matrix. External considering, this is when we put ourselves in someone else's shoes. If something happens to another person, we try to understand it from their perspective. We imagine what it would be like to be in their situation. This is called external considering. Internal considering. This is when we only see things from our own point of view. We think about how situations affect us personally. We feel hurt, disrespected, or offended, but we don't think about why the other person might be acting a certain way. We only focus on our own feelings and reactions. When we are stuck in internal considering, we are trapped in the matrix. We don't try to understand others. We only think about ourselves. Every time we feel offended, it's a sign that we are engaging in internal considering. If we can't stop this habit, it will grow and affect all areas of our lives. As long as we only see the world from our own perspective, we will never escape the matrix. The third thing is self-justification. This is similar to thinking too much about what others think of us. When things don't go as we expect, we keep trying to explain why we did what we did, or why we didn't do something, so we don't have to admit it's our fault. We blame other people or the situation and get stuck in this loop of thinking. Gurdjieff also talks about self-pity. This is the opposite of self-justification. Instead of explaining ourselves, we feel sorry for ourselves. We think, "Poor me, nobody understands me," and we stay stuck in our own self-pity. This feeling can be strangely comforting, and we often don't want to let it go. Both self-justification and self-pity are ways of getting too caught up in ourselves. According to Gurdjieff, this puts us in a negative state where we lose energy and power. We might even become angry and lose connection with our higher, more enlightened selves. These higher parts of us help wake us up from being stuck in our own limited thinking. Now, the meditation involves sitting in silence a lot. The more you practice sitting in silence, the more you start to move beyond the reality you've built around yourself. There are various things we can do to break free from the matrix. We need to focus on different aspects of our lives: spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. The first step is to find healers to support you. Look for a genuinely trained Reiki master who knows the original Reiki form. You can also find someone who understands how to move and heal the body's energy systems. It's important to choose someone who is intuitive, awakened, focused on light, energetic, talented, and brave enough to help you explore the depths of your soul. Healing is something you can actively seek out. While it might not be available to everyone, finding someone to help you balance and move your energies can be very powerful. The second step you can take is to create a sacred space in your home. Find a spot where you can meditate. Set up an altar that reflects who you are and gives you a sense of freedom. Keep this space positive by adding things like crystals, incense, and candles. Avoid placing anything dark or negative on the altar. This should be a place of power where you feel comfortable and at peace. The third step is to clear your mind of negative thoughts and beliefs. This doesn't mean ignoring your shadow side, but it does mean addressing any persistent negative thoughts. If you're holding on to feelings of doubt, shame, negativity, illness, self-loathing, fear, or rage, it's time to let them go. Transforming your soul is challenging and might take many years, but it's important to start the process. Just begin, no matter how long it takes. Imagine you own a large meadow filled with beautiful wildflowers. However, this meadow also has many weeds that choke the wildflowers and cause them to die. This is like your mind. Until you remove the mental weeds of despair, doubt, and self-destruction, the flowers of your soul cannot fully grow and bloom. The soil of your mind must be healthy and strong. Now, persistence is important. Persistent thoughts create patterns in your brain, leading to negative thinking that forms what are known as thought forms, solidified thoughts that control your mind. These need to be broken up, like pieces of hardened bone growing crookedly from your toe. Just as the bone can block your steps, these thought forms can block your progress. Persistent thoughts of hatred, anger, illness, death, or greed act like hidden poisons in your body and can eventually cause disease. Love and truth can heal them. Bring these negative thoughts into the light and address them. They can be weeded out like a garden, and you can plant new seeds of hope. Take a sheet of paper and write down the negative thoughts you have often, such as, I'm too fat, I'll never get a job, I don't have the skills, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, or I'm always sick. Identify these thoughts because they are deeply ingrained beliefs, often coming from our parents or early experiences. These beliefs sink into our subconscious mind, which shapes our reality and opportunities. Limiting beliefs act as barriers to achieving your dreams, so it's important to weed them out of your mental garden. Next to each negative statement, write down the positive opposite. For example, instead of I'm unlovable, write I am loved unconditionally. Create a positive statement for each negative thought and focus on these every day until the negative beliefs are strongly replaced. Keep your affirmations on your altar and ask the universe to help you clear out your mental garden. The fourth step is to recognize your false self. Start by making a list of false beliefs, actions, habits, behaviors, and characteristics that tie you to your narcissistic ego. After creating this list, think of steps you can take to break away from these negative patterns, like stopping habits of lying, bragging, or overspending to make yourself feel better. Begin to take these steps and stop any behaviors that are keeping you limited, self-centered, and only serving your ego. Give yourself mental and emotional support to separate from your mask or egoic self. This false self is not who you truly are, but something you've created within the Matrix. Think of Neo in the Matrix. When he takes the red pill, he leaves behind his false self, the person working in a business, to discover his true self. You need to do the same Identify and eliminate the false self to find who you really are. The fifth step is to find your true self. Don't fall back into old habits. Let your progress take hold. Give yourself credit for what you've achieved, and then start meditating on discovering your true self. During meditation, ask your true self to come forward and reveal its true characteristics. Pay close attention to your inner voice, and listen without judging with your rational mind. Let your inner truth rise slowly, like bubbles in a pond, until it becomes clear to you. Write down what comes up about your true self. After you regularly and strongly connect with your true self and feel this connection clearly, ask your true self to reveal any traumatic experiences and their origins. Write down what your true self tells you during meditation. In future meditations, once you have a strong and safe connection with your true self, ask it to help you gently dissolve the traumas from your past. Record what happens during this process. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. Seek help from a healer, counselor, or someone who can support you. There are people available to help you. Continue this practice for at least 21 days. The sixth step is to connect in sacred dialogue with your true self. Learn to have a deep conversation with your true self, reaching into your soul and awakening long-dormant parts of you. You might need to go somewhere far away, be alone for a while, or follow your passion to do this. The false world we live in suppresses your soul, keeping it asleep until you bring it to the surface. Speak to your sleeping soul as if you are its teacher, parent, guru, coach, loved one, personal trainer, and Buddha. Become your own personal Yoda. Even if you're alone, you must revive your lost, stolen, or broken spirit. Learn to talk to your inner self. Shamans, spiritual teachers, mystics, monks, and other sages know how to do this. Become one of them. Develop your spiritual strength by exploring the hidden parts of your soul to rediscover yourself. Use tools like Reiki, chakra awakening, crystals, and anything that helps awaken you. Meditate and spend time sitting in silence to connect deeply with your true self. You can try a sacred dialogue like this. Say, I am now speaking to my higher self, the true self that is always present. By the power within me, I command my ego to step aside so healing and love can enter. I have been living behind a narcissistic mask. It is safe to step out and be free now. I will be loved and cared for when I release this mask. It does not help me. It traps my spirit, my love, and my power, and it sabotages my life, my dreams, and my destiny. My ego formed in my mother's womb, in past lives and through current traumas to serve my soul until I was ready. Now I am ready. I am no longer afraid and believe in myself. I let go of this mask. You can also create your own sacred dialogue, talking to yourself, giving yourself affirmations, and commanding yourself to heal. These are some things you can do to help yourself. Now let's talk about how to escape from the matrix in a physical way. It's not just about changing your mind, it's about taking care of your whole body. Your body is like another brain. The seventh step is to clean yourself as much as you can. Start by cleaning up your diet. Good health begins with what you eat or don't eat. Begin to eat an organic diet. This means eating foods that are not mixed with bad stuff like sugars, toxins, chemicals, pesticides, hormones, and steroids. All these things help keep you stuck in the matrix. If you can stop eating meat, that's great. But if you can't, then at least eat organic meat. Meat from factory farms is one of the biggest sources of diseases in our food. Eating unhealthy foods can cause heart disease, obesity, and many other illnesses. Take a close look at your eating habits and start a detox program to clean your body. When people go through trauma, they often develop food addictions to cope with the pain. This can include other types of addictions as well. There is often a connection between eating disorders and sexual trauma, especially addictions to sugar. If you were sexually abused as a child, you might have turned to sugar to cope with the pain. To heal, you need to change your diet. You know deep down what foods you need to stop eating. Listen to that inner voice telling you to make a change. To purify your body, you need to escape from unhealthy eating habits. The eighth step is to become sober in every part of your life. Addiction isn't just about drugs, it's about being addicted to anything. We can be addicted to food or material things. To truly change, we need to reach a point where nothing controls us. You can't transform your soul if you are caught up in an addiction. Addiction affects your whole being, your mind, body, emotions, and spirit. When you are addicted, all these parts of you are unbalanced and sick. You need to take care of every part of yourself to heal fully. The 9th step is to make your body stronger. Start exercising. But you don't need to become a bodybuilder like Arnold Schwarzenegger. There are many easy ways to begin. You can start by walking, stretching, or doing Qigong. You can check my book for exercises that boost your energy. Find a yoga routine you like and do it at home. You can also practice Tai Chi in your living room. Consider taking a dance class, doing some jazzercise, or joining a gym. Learn a routine that includes exercises with weights, but get a professional trainer to help you start. Don't try to lift heavy weights or do too much if you're not in shape yet. Use your common sense. If you can't afford a gym and want to keep it simple, walk for an hour a day. This gets your blood flowing, wakes up your mind, and once you start, you'll gain energy and strength. A healthy body helps a healthy mind, and you will begin to heal and awaken. I believe exercising is very important. The 10th step is to let go of toxic energies. You can do this with Qigong exercises and body work, which help move energy out of your body. People familiar with Reich's methods know how to do this. Over the years, your body has stored a lot of negative energy, and it can be hard to get rid of it. There are various ways to do this. I suggest trying myofascial release work and craniosacral therapy to remove trauma. You can look these up for more details. Your body holds on to energies and emotions. When you meditate, try to become aware of these and work on releasing them. You can also use muscle testing to ask yourself questions about the energies in your body. This can help you identify what you need to change. Just by working out, you will start to notice these energies and emotions. Pay attention to them, and you will begin to understand what needs to be released. The 11th step is to live naturally. Try to live off the grid as much as you can. The Earth's electromagnetic field is affected by electricity, power poles, nuclear power, computers, and TV satellites. All these things are part of the matrix. The more you use electricity, computers, and TV, the more the electromagnetic field is harmed. This can impact your health and stop your spiritual growth. When the electromagnetic field is disrupted, your own energy field is affected, and your yin-yang balance is disturbed. Trust your intuition and awareness. If you feel they are weakened, it might be because of the electromagnetic field around you. If possible, install solar panels to power your home. Learn to charge your phones and other devices with solar energy. Stay away from processed foods. Grow a garden and eat as much organic and natural food as you can. These are some simple ways to live more naturally and keep your energy in balance. The 12th step is to escape from the matrix of mind control. I know this is hard, and it's hard for me too. But try to stop watching TV as much as possible. Avoid listening to the radio and don't spend too much time on social media. All forms of media, including social media, have mind control programs. Every time you use your cell phone, radio, or TV, you're exposed to brainwashing programs. Pay attention to the frequencies you listen to. The frequency 528 Hz is known as the frequency of love. You can easily find it on YouTube or the internet. Control the frequencies and vibrations around you and make time to meditate daily. Meditation can help reduce the negative energies entering your mind. Ask the universe for help in leaving the matrix of mind control. By being mindful of these things, you can take steps to free yourself from mind control. Here's where you need to start another part of healing your ego. It's time to face your shadow self. The 13th step is to heal your shadow. Stop blaming others for your faults, lies, and fears, and look inside yourself for healing. Be honest with yourself. Write down your shadow behaviors, even the small ones like procrastination. Think about how these are connected to your lack of faith in yourself to get things done. You were born with the tools to handle the task in front of you. Why don't you believe you can do it? People like parents or teachers, might have interfered with your gifts. They might have projected their own fears and shortcomings onto you. This could have made you develop similar doubts and fears about yourself and your abilities. As a result, you may have hidden your shadow behaviors to survive. This step is different from just clearing negative thoughts or removing a mask. It's about recognizing the dark side you might be hiding from others but still engage in secretly. Bring these behaviors to light, meditate on them, make them conscious, and write them down. Look at them and own them. Place your list on an altar, put a sacred object on it, and ask the universe for help in healing these issues. The 14th step is to create a web of power. This means drawing a big diagram that connects your shadow behaviors to their origins. First, write down all the negative behaviors you have. For example, maybe you started cheating in math because your dad, who was great at math, made fun of your math skills and you wanted to impress him. Or perhaps you choose unhealthy partners because you were abused when you were young. Maybe a role model told you that you wouldn't succeed, so you developed habits that made you fail on purpose. Or you might watch too much TV to avoid your responsibilities. On a large piece of paper, write down each shadow behavior. Next to each behavior, write where you think it came from and the name of the person who influenced it. Draw lines to connect these behaviors and their origins, like a spider web. This will help you see the pattern and understand how one thing led to another. Be honest with yourself. If a behavior started because of your own selfishness, laziness, or greed, write that down too and put your name next to it. Connect everything to see the full picture. Finally, lightly color in the web so you can still read everything. This will help you understand how these behaviors are connected and guide you back to becoming your healed self. You can make it look like something if you want, like an animal, a monster, or a plant. Take your shadow web and place it on the altar. Put a sacred object on the altar as well. Then ask the universe for help. Ask the universe to help transform you and change these things in your life. Just being aware of the pattern is enough to start the process. The 15th step involves your mind, and it's about finding your truth. Start by making a list of all the beliefs you were taught as a child. Think about the beliefs your family taught you, what you learned in school, what you heard in church, or from any other significant place in your youth. These beliefs can be about the world, life, your family, your school, your abilities, your appearance, or anything else about yourself or others. By listing these beliefs, you begin to see what you were taught and how it shaped your understanding of the world. This step helps you recognize and question those beliefs, allowing you to find your own truth. For example, maybe you were taught that you were ugly or stupid and believed that your whole life. Write that down. Maybe you were taught that a certain race of people was bad. Write that down too. Maybe you were taught that women were inferior and should stay at home. Or maybe you were taught that all men were bad. Write those beliefs down as well. Maybe you were taught that you should always be afraid. Write that down. Perhaps you were even taught that one of your parents was honest, but later you found out they were committing fraud and stealing. Write that down too. Take a moment to think about all the beliefs and myths you were taught when you were young. Write them all down. Now that you're an adult, look at these teachings closely. Ask yourself if they are still correct. Have you learned that some of them were false? By doing this, you can start to understand which beliefs are true and which ones need to be changed. This process helps you see the truth more clearly and lets you grow into a better, more authentic person. Now, make a new list. At the top of the list, create 2 columns. Label one column true and the other column myth. Now go through your beliefs and decide which ones are still true. Write those under the true column. The beliefs you now realize are myths should go under the myth column. Take some time to meditate on this list. Ask your soul to help you let go of any beliefs that aren't true. Even though you know these beliefs are false, they might still be affecting you in some way. Spend some time letting your mind release these falsehoods. Visualize them leaving your mind. Ask your soul to bring the truth to you. Meditate many times, listening for the quiet inner voice of your soul. Cultivate this voice of truth within yourself. Soon it will be easy to hear. Place your list upon your altar. Put a sacred object on it. Ask the universe to help you heal your issues. The 16th step is to establish your power. The matrix or the system around you often tries to make you believe that you have no power. This can make you feel helpless and weak. But the truth is, you're very powerful. Start by writing down a statement of personal empowerment for each person who has hurt you or triggered your shadow behavior. Think about someone who made you feel powerless. Write about how you feel regarding what they did and how it affected your life. Express your feelings openly and honestly. Write about how their actions impacted you and made you feel small or powerless. Then declare that you are done with the damage they caused. State that you are ready to be whole and complete again. Inform them through your writing that you are reclaiming your power. You are taking back control over your life and your emotions. By writing these statements, you start to see and feel your own strength. This process helps you move from feeling powerless to recognizing and embracing your true power. This step is essential in helping you become the strong, empowered person you truly are. Bring this statement into a ceremony. You can place it on your altar as well. Start by making a list of the things that have made you feel disempowered. Think about the times and places in your life where you felt like you had no power, where you felt helpless or weak. Identify these moments and write them down. It might be certain situations, experiences, or even relationships where you felt powerless. As you write down these disempowering experiences, also take time to identify the truth about them. Understand why you felt that way, and recognize that you are now choosing to see the truth. This process of identifying what made you feel powerless and then seeing the truth about it is very freeing. It allows you to let go of those negative feelings and helps you regain your strength. Bringing this statement into a ceremony or placing it on your altar can make this process even more powerful. It is a way to honor your journey and reclaim your power, helping you feel strong and in control of your life. Close your eyes and imagine yourself cutting away the strings that tie you to things that make you feel weak. Think about the beliefs, ideas, objects, and people in your life that take away your strength. As you visualize this, see your power returning to you. Now think about the actions and behaviors that came from these disempowering beliefs. Recognize how they have affected you and decide that in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you will work hard to eliminate these behaviors. Commit to this process, knowing that letting go of these negative influences will help you regain your strength and power. The 17th step is to heal your past. Start by making a list of the wrongs, bad behaviors, and things that are bothering you. Acknowledge them one by one. Use the Neville Goddard method to imagine these situations differently, in a more positive way. This helps to let them go. Bring these issues into your awareness and release them from your body. Remember, there is nothing to be ashamed of. Allow the part of you that feels shame to fade away. As it does, self-love will begin to fill your heart. You'll start to forgive yourself. With self-forgiveness, even more love will enter your being. This growing love will enable you to share more love with others. When you reach this point, you can be of service to others. A deep, peaceful feeling, beyond what you can fully understand, will come to you once you release these negative things. This is God's love. Let it into your heart and life. The 18th step is to anchor your spirituality. Start by finding a spiritual path and begin a daily spiritual practice. This could be something like 10 minutes of meditation or prayer. Choose whatever helps you heal completely and holistically. Make a deep spiritual connection with the energy that powers the universe. We are all part of this energy and connected through it. Once you connect to this energy, you will never feel empty again. the world around us often distracts us from accessing these energies. It doesn't want us to believe that there are external energies we can use to empower ourselves. But remember, this is not true. Connecting to these energies is real, and it's your decision to make. It's not up to your parents, spouse, or religious institution. Spirituality is a personal journey, and what is spiritual for one person might be different for another. For example, a Native American spirituality will differ from that of a Christian or a Buddhist. Similarly, what Allah means to a Muslim will differ from what a Hindu or Jew believes. No one else can make this decision for you. In your spiritual practice, make sure to honor both the goddess and the God who created us all. Acknowledge the duality, the masculine and feminine aspects of the universe. Recognize and awaken the inner goddess within you. Understand that you have different aspects within yourself. Anchor to these true aspects of your being and embrace them fully. The 19th step is to create a statement of intention. It is not about what you want, desire, or wish for. It is about what you intend to do. Intention is your power. Write a statement of intention on how you plan to claim, live, and hold your power, truth, sovereignty, and divine purpose from now on. At the beginning of your statement, let your former adversaries or others in your life know that you intend to hold them accountable. Make it clear that you expect to be treated fairly, equally, respectfully, and lovingly. Include in your statement your intention to exit the matrix. When you make this your intention, you will notice your ability to overcome the manipulations we have talked about. The 20th step is about grounding your power. You can do this physically by walking barefoot on the earth and soil. This helps you connect directly with the ground. You can also ground yourself spiritually by understanding that your power comes from both the earth and the sky. Connect yourself to the powerful energies around you. Imagine yourself being connected to the infinite energies surrounding you. Say a prayer of gratitude to help solidify this connection. This practice grounds your intentions in the present moment and roots you to your current reality. By doing this, you strengthen your bond with the world around you and reinforce your sense of power and purpose. When you become truly selfless and stop worrying about yourself, you break free from the limits of your ego. You begin to think beyond your own concerns, and many of the manipulations you face will disappear. This is what God wants for you, to follow these steps and emerge on the other side, ready to serve others selflessly. There are countless places that need your help, so finding opportunities to serve should not be difficult. By focusing on helping others, you stop thinking only about yourself and move beyond your own limitations. This is the final stage on the path to spiritual awakening. It is the last step of ascension, the path to selfless service. This shift in focus helps you overcome the restricted self you are currently confined to and guides you towards true spiritual growth. As you follow these steps and think about their meaning, you will start to remember your true self and rise to a higher level of being. These steps are meant to help you. By taking action, you can escape the matrix. There are specific things you can do, and that's what this audiobook is about. Giving you a list of actions to take to escape the matrix, like taking the red pill that Neo takes in the movie The Matrix. By following this checklist, you can break free from the matrix and find your true self. Each step is designed to guide you toward a higher state of awareness and being. These actions will help you move beyond the limits of the matrix and experience a new level of freedom. But remember, escaping the matrix might not be what you expect. It won't be a perfect heaven like it was for Neo. The world around you might change a lot once you truly understand the reality you are in. However, when you escape the matrix, you begin to believe in and understand your own power to create your reality. When you break free from the matrix, you become the creator of your own world. Imagine being on a bus where no one is driving and you're just sitting in the back. Escaping the matrix means going to the front of the bus, grabbing the wheel, and starting to drive. That's when you take control of your own reality. You move from being a passive passenger to an active creator of your life. It's not crucial to know the exact nature of the matrix or who is behind it. What's important is becoming aware of its influences and your own habits and rhythms. You can escape the matrix by working on yourself, establishing a strong spiritual core, letting go of your past, releasing shame, forgiving others, and stepping into your own power. Forgive your shadow self and allow that part of you to awaken. Understand who you truly are and move beyond worrying about yourself. This journey involves self-awareness, inner work, and ultimately, moving towards a state where you are no longer focused solely on yourself. You deeply care about helping others, and once you reach that point, you've escaped the matrix. In this new earth, we need to support and serve each other. We can't let the old myths of the past convince us that we must stay on the old earth forever. These old beliefs and limitations tell us there's no new earth, that we have no power, that we can't create our own reality, and that everything is just chaos and randomness. But that's not true. Hate, anger, and fear are not what reality is supposed to be made of. These negative emotions are not normal. They distort you and are used to keep you trapped in the matrix. On the new earth, we understand that we have the power to create our own reality and that life isn't meant to be filled with hate and fear. By caring for and serving others, we can break free from these distortions and truly escape the matrix. Who creates the matrix? I don't know. But they are not working for your good or for your soul. They want to limit you and use you like a slave. You have all the power, but they tell you that you don't, and they use this system against you. They are using your creative powers against you. They know you can create reality, so they put things in your life to make you afraid and limit yourself. By doing this, they know what kind of reality you will create. It's time to overcome that and move beyond the illusion of Maya. Understand yourself better and realize what it truly means to live and coexist in this beautiful universe. You have the power to create a better reality. Don't let fear and limitations hold you back. Embrace your true potential and step into a new understanding of life and your place in the universe. Thank you for listening.